Keys to financing Caribbean vacation properties. Financing an overseas vacation property in the Caribbean requires a strategic approach that balances international lending realities with localized legal requirements. For most buyers, the primary hurdle is that traditional domestic lenders rarely provide domestic mortgages for properties located outside their home country, due to the difficulty of collateralizing foreign assets. Consequently, successful financing often relies on leveraging existing home equity in your primary residence through a home equity line of credit, HELOC, or a cash-out refinance. This method allows you to act as a cash buyer in the Caribbean market, which can provide significant bargaining power and simplify the closing process. Alternatively, you may explore international banks with a regional presence, such as RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, or First Caribbean, though these often require larger down payments, typically between 30% and 50%, and higher interest rates than domestic loans. A commonly overlooked aspect of Caribbean real estate is the substantial hidden cost of acquisition, which can add 15% to 25% of the total purchase price for non-citizens. Most islands require foreign buyers to obtain an alien landholding license, a process that involves background checks, significant government fees, often 5 to 10% of the property value, and wait times ranging from 3 months to over a year. Additionally, stamp duties, legal fees for local counsel, and mandatory property valuations must be paid upfront and cannot usually be rolled into a mortgage. Failing to budget for these entry costs can derail a purchase mid-transaction, leaving the buyer with forfeited deposits or a financing gap that is difficult to bridge at the last minute. One of the most frequent mistakes made by international buyers is misunderstanding the island time factor and its impact on construction and maintenance financing. In the Caribbean, materials are often imported, which means supply chain delays and sudden price hikes are common occurrences that can blow a renovation or construction budget by 20% or more. Financing a fixer-upper requires a much larger liquid contingency fund than a similar project back home, as local banks are notoriously hesitant to lend for construction progress draws to non-residents. Furthermore, the lack of standardized comparable sales data means that property appraisals can be highly subjective. Overpaying because of postcard view rather than data-driven valuation is a trap that often leaves buyers with immediate negative equity. The ongoing holding costs and extreme weather risks associated with tropical climates represent another layer of financial complexity that requires meticulous planning. Annual insurance premiums in the Caribbean are significantly higher than in North America, particularly for properties in hurricane-prone zones. And many lenders will mandate comprehensive catastrophe coverage as a condition of the loan. Beyond insurance, the corrosive effects of salt air and high humidity lead to accelerated depreciation of appliances, HVAC systems, and structural elements, necessitating a dedicated maintenance budget. Owners who plan to offset these costs through short-term rentals must also account for high property management fees, often 20 to 35% of gross revenue, and the seasonal nature of Caribbean tourism, which can result in several months of negative cash flow during the low season. Tax implications for foreign owners are a critical area where many buyers fail to perform due diligence, leading to expensive surprises during both ownership and eventual resale. Depending on your home country's tax treaties, you may be subject to double taxation on rental income or face high withholding taxes when you decide to sell the property. For instance, many Caribbean jurisdictions do not have capital gains taxes, but your home country likely does, and they will calculate those gains based on the currency exchange rate at the time of purchase versus the time of sale. This phantom gain caused by currency fluctuation can create a significant tax liability even if the property's local market value remains stagnant. Navigating the legal landscape requires hiring a specialized local attorney who is independent of the real estate agent to ensure there is clean title on the property. In some Caribbean nations, land records are not fully digitized, and family land disputes can arise if the title history had not been rigorously vetted for all potential heirs. Without a clear title, obtaining traditional financing or title insurance becomes impossible, and your investment could be tied up in local courts for years. A common mistake is using the developer's or the seller's suggested lawyer, which can lead to a conflict of interest. Having your own representation ensures that restrictive covenants, such as bans on short-term rentals or specific architectural mandates, are identified before you commit to the purchase. Finally, long-term estate planning is an essential but often ignored component of international property financing and ownership. Many Caribbean jurisdictions have forced heirship laws or unique probate requirements that do not recognize a foreign will, potentially complicating the transfer of the asset to your children or spouse. You may need to draft a separate situs will, specifically for the island where the property is located, to ensure a smooth transition and minimize local inheritance taxes. Integrating the foreign property into your overall financial plan with the help of a tax professional ensures that the dream of a Caribbean getaway property doesn't become a logistical nightmare for your heirs, preserving the wealth you've invested in your tropical second home. To learn more about our law firm's international legal practice, we welcome you to visit our website and contact our law firm to schedule a confidential consultation. Thank you.